I'm actually gonna... This is not part of the script this evening, but I'm gonna do a little something to try and lighten the mood a little bit. Crying out loud. When I tell you to go to a certain part... that's more like it. Let's see. Let's see if it'll actually load up properly. Some may remember this from back in the day. It's actually where I started getting a slight little taste for this sort of editing I would do back in the day, where you look at the sort of work I do now and then look at what I've done, what I do up to now. You're going to see like little remnants from this, and then I'm going to show a comparison video, and then you can sort of see where I've actually improved in editing, because I actually make a point of saying in the update version where I've actually improved with regards to editing, scoring, just the overall package. I'll just ask this quickly in the comments. Who remembers one of the first walk-around videos I did at a railway museum in 2011 when I did everything in a black and white filter? I was asking the audience.
I don't remember that.
It's one of the earliest videos, because a little bit of history. The original channel was opened up on May 17, 2007, but I didn't actually put up the very first video until September of that year. I mean, there was a lot of other things going on in 2007, plus I was a bit of a lazy creator back then. But it was only after, I started jumping into the news of at the time, the new Knight Rider series, and then slowly getting involved with WWE news. That was when you'd see things like Main Event Night coming into play, and then the announce table, and then the creation of the roller coaster ride that was Raw Down Rebound. I would do other
One question, do you look at it as an accomplishment, or from all the things Onya said, just an SMH moment?
Yes. Well, basically, you're going to get to see, like I say, one of the earlier works that I did back in the day. Now, the video quality is only going to be at 480p, because I didn't have... I could have had the means to make HD videos, but Movie Maker. Let's be real here. Are you gonna
wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And also for context, this was originally up on February 28, 2011. So you are going to see a few... oh yeah, where are my manners? I should actually drop this into... here for you guys as well. But I tried to make it as more of a noirish thing as possible. No kaiju? Okay. The one thing that one of Random's friends had said, because Abusive Uke, I won't go saying her real name because I don't know how she is about things like that. She said she enjoyed the overall presentation. The only thing she said was, to really make it like a proper old school look, you could have made it where it was like a silent film, but done to like a silent piano score.
Right.
So what you're going to see is like the early work that I used to do, and when it was under the old banner of MJ Knight Productions before I switched it up to MJ Knight TV, and then the rebranding in 2014 as Dynamic Knight Entertainment. Only because I just felt it was time for a name change,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is everyone at 0?
I'm at 0.
Okay, Raiden's at 0 as well. Okay then, in 3, 2, 1, time to go for a trip down memory lane. Play.
Oh, that's an old logo.
Damn.
Yep.
That is an old logo.
2011. Wow, I was still in college at that time. Where is this located?
Swindon.
Okay.
It's about, I want to say, 30 to 40 miles away from Bristol, and the museum that I'm actually walking around in was actually what they refer to as the Swindon Engine Works, which is where most of GWR's rolling stock and steam engines were built and assembled.
Man, what I wouldn't do to go here? Yeah. Trains used to be a big passion of mine back in the day.
Before anybody goes making like comments about the lighting, they purposely had the light settings that were present when this was actually open as an engine work. So if you go in there and the lighting's hazy or not as well lit, it's just trying to reflect the working conditions at the time.
Okay.
Ah, Lodestar. This was actually using my... Which camera was this at the time? Oh, this was my old JVC standard definition camcorder. This was my go-to until I went with my current HD camera. I have done color presentations of this museum before, but I feel like there's something that has more character when it's done in black and white.
Okay. Yeah, it's more classic. Nice diagram.
Yep.
Ooh.
Nice.
8-year-old me is screaming right now.
8-year-old version of me is saying, I would never want to leave here.
Alright.
And there is the grand lady in question.
Oh. Oh my god, that is beautiful.
It gets better.
I remember seeing a couple models of this, just actually using like real smoke and all that. Pretty innovative.
Yeah, not too many museums get to do what I'm about to do in a moment.
So when you say it gets better, what does it do? Turn into a transformer?
No. We don't go into, lame Michael Bay aspects. This is part of the exhibit that probably not too many other places get to do, because there's actually an engine pit directly underneath the locomotive, and what I'm actually going to be doing in a moment is actually walking underneath her.
Oh, word? You can do that?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
wow.
It's part of the exhibit, because look, there's a staircase there.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. Yeah. I'm actually going to walk around the front again. It's one of the things I always like to do whenever I visit a railway museum is try to have it like as if the person watching this is behind the camera viewing this as I do, just trying to look at almost every detail of the vehicle as possible. And this is what I mean when you get to go underneath her.
Whoa. This is...
Yeah, the Swindon Museum is not as big as the National Rail Museum that they've got up in York, but I think because the museum is smaller, they try to make more out of what they have, whereas essentially the National Rail Museum is a converted turntable round shed. This is essentially like, I want to say probably about 3/4 smaller than said museum, but they try to make use of every inch that they have so that, you know, you actually feel like you're in like the world that this place existed in back in the 30s, 40s and 50s, because they also have further along a recreation of a platform from the days of World War II. Is Embarred Kingdom Brunel. This is not actually the same engine. This is just a replica. But from what most people have said, this is pretty much as accurate to the original GWR North Star as you could get it. That's one thing I've noticed over the years, my camera stability skills have gotten a little bit better.
I've seen a little bit of your, shown a lot of your work on here, and it's definitely improved, especially with the snow photos.
I do love me some winter photography.
Yeah, same. I mean, whenever it snows in my area, I do it. It's just an excuse to just post the action figures. I mean, I think one time I have my one Gundam model kit, and I was like, putting it in the snow.
Say Gundam again, and only just suddenly pops out of nowhere. It's like, wait a minute, I was playing with my goblet. Hello there, Lydia. I'm not doing anything. Oni, put the gunpla away.
Like, go back to sleep.
Holiday season is almost upon us, so you know that little twinkle in his eye, and
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, he's gonna want something.
I'm not entirely sure why I backed away. It was either a case of, I think it might have been a couple was trying to walk in through that way, and I was just awkwardly going around the other way. From what I remember, I mean, it's been 8 years.
Right.
Yeah, in color, this particular engine is black with red trim. She's one of my go-tos whenever I go to photograph the engines, because, I don't know, you know, red trim on a black steam engine is... There's something appealing about that.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think that one was built in 1950 and then withdrawn, I think, about 12 to 15 years later. So what you got to remember, in the UK, we were still operating Steam up until August 1968.
Okay.
Well, they thought diesel was the future, and the problem was with diesel engines back in those days, they weren't as foolproof as they are today, because they would actually get steam engines to come back out just to do their job, which is ironic because the diesels were being used to replace them. Yeah, this is another little feature that they don't do this so much on the steam engines from when I was going up here until I stopped a few years ago, mainly because I was just going every spring and fall, and it's just like, dude, this is getting old. You need to give it a rest for a while. Not many of them will allow you to actually get in the cabin. And this is something they don't have, where they have the firebox open, because the last few times I've been up there, the firebox is closed up. I think it's because, kids would actually climb in there, or even some idiot teenagers. There's other little touches I wanted to add, particularly in the credits. Give it like a really old film filter, because you'd see like little flashes go through it, like there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you still do this to this day. Mainly just like starring and everything. It's not just you, just credit everyone else. It's cool.
Well, my train of thought is, if you're gonna use somebody's work, credit them.
Right.
You want to try and make it look as professional as possible. Now that was
really good.
But that was the 2011 version, and the version you're about to see in a moment is the one I did from, I think it was May 2017. Just give me a moment. Just need to look the thing up a second. So make the browser go there a minute. Swindon Steam 2017. Alright, pop that in there, let you guys get set up. Right. No, pause, damn it. Let me just check some of the comments a second. Oh, wow, there's been a few of these. Windows Movie Maker, my greatest nemesis, not that far from me. Though I am currently living in Cheltenham, just a train ride away from Bristol. GWI, Blair, Southern Railway all the way. Oh, Cole, you're not being subtle there, Aaron. I can understand that. Try and capture the feel from the time. Choo-choo. Wow. Good. Aaron goes, good lord, that valve gear. A marvel of industrial engineering. Must have been a few years since I went to the York Railway Museum. I need to try and go up there again. Yeah, Brunel was visionary. Ooh, bar card. Dinks, anyone? I think Aaron means drinks. Aaron, you're drunk. Go home. Maybe you backed away because there was a ghost. I have heard some stories that the museum's supposed to be haunted, but I've never seen anything definitive. Aaron says, ooh, a manor class. I wonder if they had working whistles. They probably did. Yeah, particularly on the western region, their diesel hydraulics were quite problematic with maintenance. So we've done the first one. And like I say, what you're going to see now, this is now 6 years on from what I've been able to do before. And are you two at 0-0?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1, play. Already you're seeing a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I took the advice.
Much clearer this time.
Yep. Well, again, this is using the current camera that I've got because, again, the previous one was an SD camera.
Okay.
And also applying what I've learnt over the last 6 or 7 years with regards to visual editing, scoring, and what have you. Yeah, it's a stark difference already. Only reason I'm opening up with the score as before, it's like, well, you're essentially making a remake of the original, but with just much better footage this time around, and better quality, I might add, and just doing it in a way whereby it's almost as if the human eye is recording this. One thing I didn't show in the 2011 version is these segments where you actually see like the building of a carriage, and I can only presume like a mannequin or a wax figure just sort of, you know, frozen in time, just assembling these things.
Don't worry. When you ever gonna go to the Air and Space Museum in DC, same old thing except working planes and junk.
Yeah, what you're seeing in the next exhibit there is what they refer to as the skeleton exhibit of, you know, a locomotive almost at its bare bones, and this is where women came into their own in the Second World War, because most of the men went off to fight in the armed forces. Most of the women were left behind to actually help assemble and actually do the maintenance of the engines at GWR.
Basically the inner frame.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere Oni is squealing.
Similar as before, but as you're seeing here already, the picture quality is just light years improved. Look, actual lighting.
Yeah, I definitely see more detail.
Well, again, I'm dealing with, you know, Sony Vegas and not Windows Movie Maker. Well, when you get something for free, you get what you pay for.
Almost that.
Yeah, what I'm actually doing is backing up on the staircase, but having one hand on the stairwell, because I've tried walking backwards before doing this sort of thing. Not recommended. Probably helped matters when I went, because I think this was May 2017 I did this. It was actually a lot brighter contrast-wise outside, because when I went in February of 2011 it was a little bit on the gloomy side, so the fact that I was actually working with a little bit more natural light helps a lot. Yeah, the sort of engine that North Star was, there was two types of track an engine back in the day, there was standard gauge, which is what most engines use, or most engines and track around the world use. But then there was broad gauge, where it was actually a lot wider, because Brunel's thinking was if an engine was wider, it would be able to control the weight and be distributed a little bit more evenly. But because Northern England was using standard gauge, and there would be like problems where some trains wouldn't be able to go from one track to the other, it was just decided at one point everything's going to be standard gauge. So there was like hundreds of miles of track ripped up from Bristol to London that had been laid down for like years, but it was just one of those things, you know, the headache was better when it wasn't there afterwards. That's the other plus side with this camera. It's got better battery life on it as well. So I think with the old JVC, provided you got it on full charge, you were fine. But there would always be like little bits and pieces you'd go back to reshoot because you wanted to do it better. With this, because you can have much more ample time, you get a little bit more to use. This was actually a treat getting to see this particular engine, because I'd seen it on a railway program called Steam Days back in the 80s on BBC Two. Never actually got the chance to actually see this engine in person. So for me, as somebody who grew up watching steam engines on TV, to actually see this one in person, be able to just put my hands on it, that was a treat. And plus, this is the one that has the dispute with Flying Scotsman, because it's alleged that City of Truro reached 100 miles an hour before the Scotsman did, but because they didn't have what is referred to as a dynamometer car, which measures the speed of an engine, because steam trains back in the day didn't have like a speed readout, and that would be the only way you could measure the speed of it. It was thought that City of Truro actually smashed the record first, but there was no way of verifying it. It's something that's still a bit of a sore nerve with some railway enthusiasts today. The other one is, don't ever bring up Dr. Beeching. Just don't. He's not a very popular fellow in the community. I think they actually switched a few engines up this time round, so there's no steam models on there. I think that's what people love about steam engines, is the fact that there's a lot of character to them, whereas you look at a diesel and electric these days and it's just Yeah, see, this is what I mean. After a certain point, they stop people climbing in too much. I think maybe because people just took too much advantage.
Once the troublemaker sees rules,
Yeah.
no rules, you know they're going to take advantage.
The credits are actually done in Windows Live Movie Maker only because I looked through a couple of templates and they actually had some set templates in there that I actually quite liked, like this one. And also because I could give it that classic look afterwards, because this has actually got a black and white filter on it as well. Oh, putting random's VidMe address on there, that's not aged well.
Why you say that?
VidMe are gone?
Ah, okay.
The old end screen.
You want to talk about dated? Your old Facebook account.
Yeah, but at the time, you know,
Right.
I was still on YouTube at the time. Reading some more comments. I wonder if they had working with particularly on the. Wow, we've gone from VHS to Blu-ray. I was only just poking fun at the GW before. I like all the big four, as my dad would say. They don't make like them like they used to. Indeed, they don't. Gosh, that valve gear again. Crumpling and buffers. I'm guessing that's a Thomas the Tank Engine reference. The sad thing is that will be a point in time that we won't be seeing a steam train running anymore. Yeah, that is. Yeah. Yep, Bruno sure loved his cigars. It's a shame that broad gauge didn't catch on. Indeed. Fun fact, Japan's bullet trains run on broad gauge. Really? I did not know that. Yeah, it's a 4 foot and a half to 2 foot wider than conventional track. I take he did something stupid. Aaron, as I said, MJ said, don't bring him up. Yay! Hi, Mac Diesel. I agree. Steam engines have individual personalities. Sometimes you've got to coax them into moving. Other will move off right away. Shame that. And the steam trains played a role in the World Wars. Yes, they did. Yes, they did, Sean. Yes, they did. Yeah. So that's, like I say, that's the, well, I suppose you could call it an evolution with regards to editing and whatnot. I just look at it as progression and what have you. But yeah, that was some of like the editing personal projects. I like to think of them as, because every now and again I like to go back to something and think I know I can do that better, because, and this is not, I don't think of this as like an egotistical or an arrogant thing, because I have the techniques and experience as an editor and as a photographer to do better than what I could do nearly 10 years ago. Even I look at that now and say, yeah, that's a hell of a lot better. But you learn through experience. Because Raiden, I don't think you really have anything else to say, because I think even you just sort of said very subtly, it's like there is a stark difference right there.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's just the quality is much improved from last video. It's really cool.
Yeah. You okay there, Lids? I'm guessing she's got.
Yeah, I'm good. No, yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Oh. Just seeing why you went on mute.
Yeah, no. I was just I had it on mute for a reason. Someone was talking to me.
Ah, understood.
You're good.
Yeah. Maybe at some stage I'll go back to to Swindon again, but it's one of those things. If you go constantly, it gets old after a while. You kind of feel like,
Yeah.
I'm wearing this out. Yeah. Maybe at some stage in the future, just not right now.